Hello, my presentation is about Jesus Rosales Ruiz. Rosales Ruiz obtained a degree in psychology from the University of San Luis Potosi in 1979. He went on to get his Master's of Human Development and Family Life from the University of Kansas in 1983 and a PhD in 1995, majoring in developmental and child psychology and behavior analysis. He began teaching at the University of North Texas in 1994 and is still a professor there teaching today. Rosales Ruiz was mentored at the University of Kansas by Donald M. Baer, who made significant and fundamental contributions to applied behavior analysis. This article, the authors discuss how behavior cusps are a behavior analytic way to look at an individual's developmental milestones throughout their lifespan. A behavior cusp is defined as a change in behavior that has consequences that expand past the specific new behavior. Rosales, Ruiz, and Baer focus on behaviors that expose the individual to new stimuli and contingencies in their environment, such as crawling, walking, imitation, and reading. The authors define important behavioral cusps as ones that have social implications, and they must have a systematic and long-lasting impact on the individual. Later in 1997, Rosales Ruiz investigated how object preference influences counting tasks and stereotypy. They found that using stimuli that were preferred and chosen by the subject, and then used in a counting task, increased stereotypy. The trials using preferred objects for the counting task had decreased accuracy. The authors proposed that teaching with less preferred items may decrease stereotypy while increasing response accuracy. In 2000, he was published again after researching how verbs and verb phrases act as instructional stimuli in the control of stimulus equivalence effects. The authors researched how verbs influence stimulus equivalence by giving the students in his undergraduate classes a test using equivalence-inducing verbs such as matches or equals. In contrast, they used non-equivalence-inducing verbs like eat and teaches. The results presented that 15 out of the 25 students showed the verb phrases had stimulus equivalence. As a graduate student, Rosales Ruiz was assigned a project involving training a pet. Once he began teaching his own graduate students, he decided to do the same for them. This led to multiple students' interest in applying behavior analysis to animals. Donnery Ferguson approached Rosales Ruiz with an idea about horse training for her thesis. He was apprehensive, but requested that in order to do it, she must find a socially relevant topic for her research so that it would positively impact the horse owners. In 2000, Ferguson and Rosales Ruiz were published, and his association with animal training and applied behavior analysis grew from there. This offered a way for owners to load their horses into a trailer without using punishment. The author's research shed light on how target training and shaping can be used with an animal population to obtain the desired behavior. In 2009, Rosales Ruiz participated in research about self-injurious behavior in baboons. The authors state that approximately 10% of primates that live in captivity engage in self-injurious behaviors. They performed a functional analysis to identify possible factors that are maintaining the baboon's self-injurious behavior. Following the functional analysis, a treatment plan was provided, which put the self-injurious behavior on extinction and used a DRA. The experiment resulted in a decrease of self-injurious behavior and an increase in the alternate behaviors. This study was the first of its kind to use a functional analysis on a non-human population. If I could interview Rosales Ruiz, I would ask him, what led you to the field of behavior analysis? How does your research process differ when working with animals instead of humans? Do you find the reward or work satisfaction different when working with animals as opposed to humans? What research or project has been the most interesting for you? And finally, where do you see your research and/or career in the future? Jesus Rosales Ruiz has made significant contributions to the field of applied behavior analysis. He has been published dozens of times and given over 150 presentations and lectures in his career. His work concerning behavioral cusps add to the literature about behavioral development, and his research has positively impacted many different animal species. To this day, he is a part of training dogs who have behavioral issues. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and these are my references.